Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, we're going to talk about the impeachment. Tomorrow's the big day. Sondland's going to testify. Today did not go well for the president. Even the witnesses the Republicans called presented evidence and testimony that was damaging to the president. The big question that's being asked in the media right now is whether or not Sondland will be believed tomorrow. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What he says matters a little, but not much. Not really. Because the rest of the testimony is already in. We have a very clear picture of the president's actions at this point. Take quid pro quo out of it. Take all of that stuff out of it. Understand that simply asking for the statement is a crime. That's a crime. You cannot solicit a thing of value from a foreign national for a campaign. The fact that it was about a statement announcing the investigation and not the investigation itself is kind of telling. It's about influencing the domestic election. All of this is on the record. That's what historians are going to look at. And from this point forward, it's not about the immediate political fallout. It's about the long-term fallout. This Senate can be viewed as the one that put a check on executive power. It can be the one that put party politics aside and said, no, this is not what our republic is supposed to be. It can be that. It's not the way they're leaning, but it could be that. When it gets to the Senate, they could choose to convict and remove. Or not. Or not. They have sole power over the trial. They could choose to do nothing and dismiss it. However, historians will look back at this and they will see the testimony that has already been entered. And that's what it'll be judged by. And as executive power grows, this will be the turning point. You know, people are saying that tomorrow is the big day. Everything hinges on Sondland's testimony. It doesn't. It's already done. Sondland's testimony is an afterthought. It really determines whether or not he goes down with the president in history. That's what it determines. His initial testimony conflicts with what was given by pretty much all of the other witnesses. He has already had to revise that testimony. Okay. But tomorrow he can go in and say, sorry, I remember everything now. This is what happened. And come clean. Tell the truth, whatever it is. And that will determine his place when historians look back on this. The Senate is the one that's really under the microscope at this point. The historical microscope, the long-term microscope, the one that is going to be talked about. Mitch McConnell may go down in history as the guy that allowed the executive branch to become all-powerful. Now, the bit that Republicans need to remember as the suburbs flee the president in the electorate and just kind of, now we're kind of done with him, is that there will be a Democrat president soon. And the executive power that Trump has been able to usurp will then belong to that president. If the current president can get away with everything that has been done, and there is no check, the next Democratic president will too. It's something that Republicans should really consider. Long term, it is in the Republicans' best interest to remove the president. If they don't, when Elizabeth Warren or maybe one day Nancy Pelosi, or whoever occupies that office and uses the executive powers that have been ceded from the legislative branch and does things the Republicans don't like, they can't say anything. And they won't be able to do anything because the precedent is being set right now. Allowing foreign nationals to influence our election. It's going to be mighty hard to complain about foreign treaties. There's a whole bunch riding on this. And it goes far, far beyond partisan politics. The Senate, this Senate, will go down in history one way or the other. It will be the one that stopped the hemorrhaging of power from the legislative branch to the executive branch, or it will be the one that turned the Senate and the legislative branch as a whole into a rubber stamp for whatever authoritarian decides to occupy that office. I don't think that history is going to look kindly on a lot of the senators that are going to have to vote. I'm certain it's not going to, there's not going to be a lot of favorable things written about the Republicans that are currently involved in the impeachment hearings. They're going to have a real bad look. Their legacy will be that of cronies who would try to defend the president no matter his actions. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.